Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Dafuq Did I Just Watch? With your host, as always, Kyle McLemore. This week we'll be recapping and reviewing the latest addition to the horror thriller genre, Barbarian. And we finally answer the question, what's in the basement? Now, before we get too far along into the review, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely helps keep the show alive, and feel free to comment any other movies or TV shows you'd like to see reviewed here at Dafuq. Now, if you haven't seen Barbarian and would still like to, make sure you pause now and return later, as this is your official spoiler alert. Now, let's go ahead and start things off with the synopsis to the movie. A woman staying at an Airbnb discovers that the house she has rented is not what it seems. And boy, what an understatement that is. The cast of Barbarian is relatively small, starring Georgina Campbell as our main heroine. Not a lot of film credits to her name, she's relatively new to the scene, but she has done an episode of Black Mirror. Also stars Bill Skarsgård, who I'm sure we all recognize as the latest version of Pennywise the Clown from the It movies. The film also stars the great Justin Long, who you may recognize from such work as Galaxy Quest and even Live Free, Die Hard, and who is no stranger to the horror genre, with movies like Jeepers Creepers and even Tusk. The movie is also directed by Zac Cregger, who you might recognize from his work on the IFC television show The Whitest Kids You Know. The original story of Barbarian was written by Zac Cregger as sort of a writing experiment. It revolves entirely around just one conversation between a man and a woman, as she kind of sort of ignores all the red flags that slowly present themselves from this man. The entire first third of the movie is actually just Georgina Campbell trying to find out if Bill Skarsgård is as scary as his alter ego Pennywise the Clown. And Barbarian does what all great horror movies do, which is make you forget that you're in a horror movie. Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård are irresistibly charming. They're both honestly adorable. It's like this, you get to watch this slow relationship build as they're both kind of nervous, but then they're both kind of like, I kind of like this person. And it's like, you almost start to root for them being a couple. And it's done so well that I had to snap myself out of it. I'm sitting there eating my popcorn, just enjoying the relationship grow, and then there's a moment when I snap out of it and I realize, oh, wait a minute, I'm in a horror movie, and it's been so calm and nice and like no problems at all for so long that I know that switch is about to flip. And boy howdy does that switch flip. Now, Barbarian is the kind of movie where most of the fun and enjoyment is from trying to find out the mystery behind it. So I'm going to do my best to review this movie without giving away too much. And so let's talk about that acting. Georgina Campbell kills it as our main heroine. She is phenomenal, great. Her acting is through the roof. As an audience member, you root for her the entire time because she's not a complete moron who just like wanders into darkness. She's very careful. She's very smart, which as an audience member, I'm sure everyone appreciates. What's worse than the character staring at like obvious danger and just walking into darkness like, hello? Like that, it's very smart. It doesn't really, there's not too much things where you're just like, you idiot. There's even like a part where like she opens the creepy door and it's just pure blackness and she's just like, nope, not happening, which is like pretty much the entire audience is like, woo, thank God. Bill Skarsgård, of course, also slam dunking his performance. I mean, what can you expect from Mr. Skarsgård? He's great. It's really fun. He adds to the mystery. You kind of root for him as well. Like I said, the relationship between him and Georgina Campbell is great. It's very organic and it reads on screen very, very well. And that brings us to Mr. Justin Long, who comes into the movie after about the first third and says to everybody, don't worry guys, I got the rest of this movie. Throws the entire movie on his back and is like, all right, let's go. I'm going to carry this into the stratosphere. And what's great about Justin Long's character is that he gets to inject an insane amount of comedy into this movie, which may sound weird, but when you think about the genres of horror and the genre of comedy, it's like they can be on paper extremely different, but they are two genres that just blend beautifully together if done in the right way, and Barbarian does it in a next level way. Barbarian has a theme of being on a roller coaster where we start at the very, very bottom of the roller coaster and we slowly start cranking up right to that peak. And just as we start to crest over to the intense part of the roller coaster, we're brought straight back down to zero and we crank it up again. So it happens about 3 times in the film where we are screaming at an 11 and then immediately dropped to a 0 and start the process all over again. Which as an audience member is extremely enjoyable because you are literally peaking at the top of the roller coaster that is fear, and then out of nowhere there's this amazing injection of some of the best comedy I've seen in a while. And Justin Long isn't just bringing comedy to the midst, he is bringing top tier acting into this movie. His character has an amazing arc of like introduced as just pure comedy, and then it's introduced as like, alright, he's kind of like a scumbag, and now he's arcing over to like complete redemption, and then there's more even after that. His character is phenomenal. It is a joy to watch him every second that he is on the screen. Now, for the most part, Barbarian takes place within the realms of reality. Like, there's nothing too outrageous to really take you out of the film. It mostly takes place in a basement. It's mostly underground, so it has a real world feel to it, which is great. Now, there is a certain point in the film where that switches and the realms of reality sort of break loose and the outrageousness takes over. Now, it's done in such a way that it's great. It has like this, like I said, with the mix of horror and comedy, there's certain times when they blend together so beautifully, and this is one of those times where the horror and the comedy just fuse together to make this whole new genre that is just kick ass. Now, is there a few moments that are so insanely over the top that it's almost laughable? Yes. Does that take away and make the film bad? Not at all. If anything, it elevates it and makes it even more enjoyable to watch. I feel like the great thing about horror and comedy that work so well together is that you're so scared and you're so tense and you're so frightened that there's nothing better than finally being able to have a second of relief, a moment to laugh and like finally feel okay and not so like dreadful and like scared the entire time, which is why I think it's such a great genre to try to mix together. It really works well together. So let's go ahead and hit Barbarian with our overall rating. Is it scary? Oh, heck yeah, it's scary. It's borderline terrifying. Not too many big jump scares. It's lots of building, lots of terror, but also lots of insane comedy, like some of the best comedy I've seen in a while. Overall, I had a great time watching this movie. I would recommend it to anybody who is a fan of the horror genre. Anyone who is a fan of Justin Long, he murders it in this movie. Also a fun little trivia if you're going to see it. Originally, they wanted Zac Efron to play the part of Justin Long, so it's kind of fun to look back and kind of imagine Zac Efron playing the part, which it would have been amazing, not to take anything away from Justin Long. It was great watching Justin Long the entire time. Yeah, it's very unique, it's very smart, it's very out of the ordinary, it's very, very enjoyable, and I cannot recommend it enough. We're going to go ahead and hit Barbarian with a solid A. That's right, coming in top of the class. Highly recommend it to you and your friends. Go see it with the group. It's really enjoyable. If you felt differently about Barbarian, feel free to comment down below, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely helps the show stay alive, and we appreciate it. I am your host as always, McLemore, and we'll see you next time at the movies.